This is episode 50 of This Makes Me Happy. Welcome to This Makes Me Happy, a podcast about people and what makes them happy. I'm your host, Bernardo Margulis. I'm a designer, art director, and educator, and I'm the principal of This Makes Me Happy, a design studio where I help my clients with branding and visual communications. I'm very happy to present This Makes Me Happy, the podcast, where each week I chat with a different person about what makes them happy. My guests come from all walks of life, and each of them shares their own personal happy stories. Join us every week for a unique conversation. Hello, today I am very happy to have Adriana Urbina with me. Adriana is a Venezuelan-born and Brooklyn-based chef. She is a creative mind behind Tepuy, a pop-up dinner celebrating Venezuelan cuisine, and she is a winner of the Food Network show Chopped. Hi Adriana, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me in your show.
Good, and I'm very happy to have you. Adriana's sister and I, Isabel, are good friends, and she said, you got to talk to Adriana. I was like, I have to, and in the pre-conversation, I can already tell why Isabel said we have to talk. I'm very happy that you're here. Adriana, is there anything that you want people to know about you?
Well, yes. I play the violin in an orchestra for many years when I was little.
How intense were you into it?
I loved it. I played the violin, the mandolin, the piano, the guitar, and that's it. So I did it for almost 10 years, and I loved it.
Wow. So multi-talented, creative, all around.
Yes, a little bit.
That's awesome. I wish I could play instruments, but I'll just be happy that you can.
I'm sure you have other talents.
A couple. I'm a graphic designer, so something here.
Amazing, yeah.
And that's how I connected with your sisters through graphic design. And
exactly.
Now we're here. So tell me, Adriana, what makes you happy?
Wow, so many things make me happy. The first thing is eating. Eating makes me so happy. I think that's the reason why I became a chef. That's one of the highest pleasures in my life. Good food, eating good food. What else? Like walking on the street without having to worry about anything. Because I'm from Venezuela, you know that I'm from Venezuela, and it's really dangerous over there. So you're not, you can't walk on the street. So being able to walk freely and being me on the street, it makes me really, really happy. Going to the beach, enjoying the sun, so many things. I think I'm a very happy person. I enjoy moments.
So I love that you say I'm a very happy person. What defines you as a happy person? Why do you say you're a happy person?
Well, I think I try to enjoy what I'm living at that moment, what I'm doing, and that makes me happier, I guess.
So in your head, do you know you're happy, or is it just overall how you lead your life and that you know that you're happy?
I think overall, appreciating, of course I have bad days and I'm not always in a good mood, but I try to really enjoy and appreciate the things that I have in my life. I think that's really important.
And has it always been that case?
No, I think it has been a learning experience. I had a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, that was really, really positive, and he had a really bad situation in his life. And I think I learned a lot from that experience and made me realize that you have to be more grateful and appreciate more, the little things in life and complain less.
How long ago was that?
2 years ago.
So this is a very recent change in perspective that you've had.
Yeah. Well, we had a long relationship. For 5 years.
So do you remember before that? how you were? Do you notice it? Do you consciously notice a difference in how you saw
Yeah,
life before and now?
totally. A huge difference. I think it's also like I was really young. I was immature, and now I had to be really positive with things that happen in my life to be able to keep going. You know, if I need to keep my positivity rolling because like I had to.
What does it mean you had to?
I had to because it was, for example, I was in a new country with, I didn't have any friends. It was like a rough start for me. So I had to be like really positive, like always look at the bright side, to be able to keep going.
So that happened after you moved to New York. That changed your attitude.
Exactly. Yeah. That changed me a lot.
Do you think it had anything to do with being in a new country, or do you think you would have arrived there eventually?
I think it's because this was a new country. Yeah.
And you've been fighting very hard since you've been here. You've been cooking all over the place, and we talked about this before we started recording, getting different jobs, cooking, and finding your pop-up. How do you think that attitude helped or affected that fight that you've had since?
Well, the change of attitude is the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I learned that if I have a bad attitude, things don't work. Like things don't move forward. So I have to like, it doesn't matter what happens, I have to keep positive in order to keep moving. And every time I have a good attitude, things go perfectly, like better than I expected. So it's I constantly fight with myself to like calm down, and it's like, okay, this is gonna pass. This is, like everything is gonna be fine. Just keep thinking positive, and everything is gonna be fine. And it always happens.
So do you have to talk yourself through it? Is it not
Yes.
yet embedded?
Exactly. Yes, totally.
Before you moved here and before you had this attitude, did you realize that you weren't as happy, or it was just you'd never thought about it?
One of the things that I was wanting and I was looking for, that I was like, this is going to make me so happy, is it was able to be free, to be independent, and to have my own life. In Venezuela, I didn't have that. I lived with my parents, and I didn't have a car. So it was really hard to be independent. And I also had a job, but I was not earning enough money to pay my bills. So that was like, that was why also I wanted to move. I wanted to move to another country. I knew that it was going to be super, really hard transition. But I was looking for that freedom. And every time now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, this really makes me happy. Like I'm independent. I don't have to ask for money. I don't have to do anything. It's me. And I think that makes me really happy. Yeah.
So I think this ties nicely with one of the things you said before, was that walking out in the street freely and being yourself makes you happy. So
totally.
What is this freedom? What does that represent for you that makes you so happy?
Wow, I don't know. It's like a sort of, I feel peace. I feel like I never want to forget this feeling. If I'm here, like I know that I'm not going to go back to Venezuela to live there. So I'm always going to be an immigrant, and I never want to forget that feeling that I'm really privileged to live in a country that I can go out and I can walk freely. Like I want to feel every time happy when I'm walking on the street and like think about it like, wow, I'm really, really privileged to be able to do this.
And I think it's hard for people to understand. I mean, there are areas in the U.S. where they're not safe to walk around, but by and large, the notion of just walking down the street is normal. And for us growing up, we
Exactly.
we couldn't walk out
Yeah.
the street. We couldn't walk
I
across,
always try to explain to people, like, you don't know what is this. Like, people are like, why are you so happy? Why are you smiling? It's like, because this is crazy. For me, this is insane that I can go, like, I'm walking with my phone. Like, but I feel really happy about that.
I remember when I first moved to here to Philly, I went to school, and my apartment was maybe like a 5-minute walk from school. And if there was activity at night, I would wait for the shuttle to pick me up, even if it meant waiting an hour, because I still had the mentality of it's not safe to walk 5 minutes down the street.
Oh, yes.
It took me a year to realize, like, you know what? I can just, or not a year, but maybe like definitely a whole semester to be like, you know what? I can walk down the street because it's safe.
Oh my God. It's like, wow. That realization that you're like, wow, I can do it and nothing is going to happen. It's crazy.
And it's such a simple, basic thing.
Yeah.
But not being able to do it, and now that you can do it and I can do it, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. I think we need to be more present and more like appreciating little things like that in life.
So you mentioned present before, you mentioned it again now. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be present?
To be present is like I always, like, when I'm in a party, for example, like I'm constantly thinking of other things. Like, I should be at home, getting ahead with with work, or what am I doing here, or like thinking in something else and not enjoying the moment. Like, maybe I'm knowing someone very interesting and I'm not paying attention because I'm thinking about something else. And it's a really hard process. Like, you have to. I'm working on it. I'm still working on it, but it's too, like, okay, no, let's work. It's work. Now I'm in this party. I'm gonna enjoy it and I'm gonna make the best out of it. And now I do it, and it's amazing. I'm much more happier because I'm enjoying that moment without thinking about anything else.
So I interviewed your sister for a different podcast, for a design podcast, and she mentioned some stuff like being organized and keeping a calendar and making plans. That was a very much American thing, and she had to learn. Do you think this presence, is that a cultural thing, or do you see that all over? Do you see that before moving here also?
Being more present.
Yeah, or the need to be more present. Is that something that happened here, or did you see from before that you weren't being present?
I think it's something that I learned here. Yeah, I think it's something that I learned here with my experiences, I guess, in life. I feel like here, people here are really systematic, organized. Like, they plan ahead. That's crazy how people plan. So in Venezuela, well, my family was not like that at all.
My family was organized, but not planning 5 years ahead like
No
they do.
planning, like, that's crazy. But that gives you a happier life. I don't know, like, or that depends on. I don't know. I can't be like that yet.
So I want to talk about food, because that's the first thing you mentioned, and you're a chef. What about food makes you happy?
What about food? Food.
And you said good food, not just any food.
Yeah, something that blows my mind. Like, it doesn't have to be well presented. It has to be like rich in flavors, like in textures. Like, it has a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of acidity. Like, wow, I don't know. When that moment comes in my life, it's like I'm the happiest person in the world, because it's like, wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love food. I know that I said this before, but it's actually true.
Did you always love food?
Always, 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 always. Yes.
Were you always surrounded by high cuisine, or was it home cooking? Like, how did it
Yeah,
start?
I was still home cooking. My grandma cooks delicious. And when I was little, my mom gave me a lot of weird, strange things to try, like blue cheese and I don't know, like strong things. And I feel like that opened my palate, I guess. But it's, and also I enjoy a lot to go to a farmer's market, like buying fruits, talking to the farmers, getting to know a little more about how they grow their produce, and getting to know like new fruits or new vegetables from a specific city or region that I don't know. That's really interesting. Learning new things makes me really happy. Learning new things.
So food is the whole experience, and it's not just about the eating it, but what you learn, where you go because of it. It's an experience beyond the taste.
Exactly. It's the culture, the people, the history behind it. So many things involve food that is not just like sitting there and eating the food, but it's amazing. Also, I enjoy a lot that people that love food and I can talk with them about food. That's amazing too.
And you said learning. Is there anything that you learned through food that surprised you or that made you particularly happy?
Wow, yes, so many things, and from so very different chefs. I love getting to know different chefs, not just fine dining, because I feel like I like to see how other chefs work and learn different techniques. I learn, for example, how to use like powders, these xanthan gum, to make like gelatins and foams and things like that. That made me really happy. Like learn how to use those weird things and use it for food, like to transform food. That was really interesting.
And has that been recently that you learned it?
No, that was a long time ago in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something that I've never seen before. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like you can make a green gelatin with like, I don't know, with fish foam or whatever, like crazy things like that. That made me really happy to learn all those things. Or maybe how to cook healthy without having to put like a bunch of butter and it tastes delicious.
A little butter is good.
Butter is delicious. Yeah.
Pauladine
Nothing
is
like butter.
there's something with Pauladine and her butter.
Exactly. I agree.
And you said also now that you mentioned in Spain, but you mentioned also learning the local ingredients and the local people through food. How has that experience been from you, from learning in Venezuela, then going to Spain, even within the U.S., Miami, New York, all the different places? How does food help you in that aspect?
Wow. Well, food. It was a big transition for me to going from Venezuela to Spain to New York, because in Latin America and in Europe, the kitchens work totally different. I've never in my life imagined that they would work differently. And in the US, it worked different, the kitchens. So I had to learn how they worked, a different language, and also like the different farmers, the different produce. Like it's totally different in each country. So that was a great learning experience, made me a better chef. I loved it. I will never change that. experience for anything.
Is there a food or a taste that brings you back a happy memory, or somewhere where you wish you could go back, or somewhere that you're particularly happy where you were?
Yes, a lot of. Well, I have a recipe from my grandma that is a quesillo. That every time I make it, it's like if I'm eating it back home, and I love it because I used to eat it when I was little, and it makes me so happy eating it again.
For the listeners, quesillo is like the Venezuelan flan.
And yes, exactly.
But we don't like it called flan because it's something different.
Exactly. Because it's different.
Is it different? I always thought it was...
It's not different. It's more the quesillo. It's harder than the flan. The flan, you make it with the egg yolks. Mm-hmm. And quesillo, you make it with the whole eggs. That's why it's more firm. So everyone has to try it because it's delicious. Quesillo.
I always thought they were the same thing, and we just like to call it different just because it was ours.
No. Well, now you know.
Now I know the difference.
Exactly.
Although I have to admit, I don't really like quesillo that much.
Really? Well, I know a lot of people that don't like quesillo.
I don't like caramel.
That's why I like it, because it's like something that I ate when I was so much when I was little that it's a memory.
Yeah. Oh, at every single birthday party.
Exactly.
It's quesillo. I would have it. I would scoop out the caramel, and I like the center of it.
That's funny. Well, good for you. Caramel is really bad.
But yeah, growing up, it was like quesillo. You would have Jell-O, and then birthday cake. Those was like every single birthday party.
Exactly. That brings so many memories.
And then for a while, I mean, now you're younger than me, so you probably didn't have the sanduchon at every birthday party.
Sanduchon, yes.
That was like iconic Caracas Venezuelan parties.
No, buenísimo. Delicious.
Well, and how special is it that right now I mean, I know your sister, but I've never met you, and now we're here sitting talking about food, and we're both having a huge smile on our faces because we're sharing this food experience from our childhoods.
Of course.
How powerful is that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you get to do that with other people. You're a chef, so do you ever think about that, about your diners having an experience, enjoying your meal, having that happy moment?
Yeah, of course. I always think about that. It's really important for me that my diners can identify themselves with the food. And that with Venezuelans, that happened to me. Like, they're like, oh my God, this reminds me to I don't know, when I was little eating and whatever. So that makes me really happy. It makes me happy to make them happy. Because it's amazing.
Is there anything, so you said that quesillo for you brings you back memories, but is there anything you like to cook for others?
Yeah, I like cooking for others more than for myself. But I love to cook everything. I love to cook Venezuelan food for others, but generally fish or risotto or handmade pasta, or I don't know, depends on the mood and the crowd.
So if we're in New York, your website's Tepuy Dining, right? To get the pop-up dinners. And I've only seen pictures, and I cannot wait for you to come to Philadelphia and do one of them. But just the stuff you put out for people just looks amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hopefully I can try it soon.
Of course, yeah.
So your list of things that make you happy, I don't want to not mention those stuff. You mentioned the beach and the sun make you very happy.
Yes.
What about them? What's your favorite beach moment?
My favorite beach moment? I know. When I went to La Tortuga, that it's an island in Venezuela. Wow, it's so beautiful. It's the water, the sand, it's white. It's just perfect. And the food, the shellfish, like, it's all magical. Like, if people have the opportunity to go, please go there. It's called La Tortuga, like the turtle.
And it's a huge destination.
It's a huge destination. It's amazing.
And now that you're in Brooklyn, do you go to... See, when I lived in New York, I never went to the beach down there.
Yeah, it's very different. I go to Rockaway.
Yeah.
That it's super close, but well, at least it's like you have that feeling that you're on beach. It's not the same, but it's.
I go to the Jersey Shore because that's more convenient for where I live in Philly.
I want to go. Yeah.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
But
this summer I will go.
Yeah, definitely. But I miss Rockaway. Everyone's like, "Oh, you just get on the subway and you go all the way down there." And 2 years, and I never did it.
Yeah.
So, if you had your perfect day or week or month, combining all the things that make you happy, what would that look like?
Okay, it can be on an island with my family and my friends with good food. That's a perfect day.
Would it be something specific or just good food in general?
Yeah, maybe some lobster. Lobster, ceviche, oysters, and like a big table with all these things. Like you can eat a lot and it never ends. Yeah, I think that's it. And good music, good live music, and a bonfire.
What kind of music would it be?
It could be, we can start with like old salsa, but live. Old salsa, like Cuban, and then people can ask for music after that.
So you get first choice, but then after that you let others.
Exactly. People can be happy too.
If you could only have one food for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Wow, that's so hard. Bueno, shellfish.
And if you couldn't cook anymore, or you were done with cooking, what do you think you'd be doing?
Wow. Okay, I wanted to be a psychologist. And well, maybe that.
Did you start, or do you go straight to?
No. I was like, no. I thought about it, and then I was like, no, I think I want to be a chef.
I think that's why I get along with you and your sister. Well, I just met you, but with your sister and now with you. I started computer sciences, and I quit 2 years into it, and it's changed to design.
Really?
And your sister quit her art history and switched over to design.
Yeah, true.
So we have all of this like high quote unquote, and then we were like, no, I'll just do whatever makes me happy.
Exactly.
And we go for it.
Yes, I totally agree.
Do you think, I'm just thinking of people who don't cook, or, here in the US, there's a culture of eating out a lot and not really taking care of what you eat. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you ever talk to people who are like, oh, I can't cook at all?
Yeah, no, I always try to tell people, like, it's not as hard as you think. And I always like give away easy recipes to like people that can make at home, and try to introduce people to cook because it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very, very necessary to make that time also for yourself, to cook for you and have a better life.
So after a long day cooking and, going to farmers markets and all this stuff, do you get home and cook dinner for yourself?
Oh, yes.
That was a very suffered answer.
You were asking like, you were waiting like, no. Yes. I do it. I don't want to do it. I know I don't want to do it, but I like push myself to do it as much as I can. Sometimes I order food, I have to say. Sometimes.
And that makes people like me feel so much better.
When I'm super tired. Yeah, no.
Do you have a go-to?
Well, depends on how hungry I am, but usually like sushi or maybe a burger or pizza. Okay, don't put this part. You should put this part.
Well, but then people are gonna go to your restaurant and eat like the real stuff, so it's fine.
Exactly. Okay, you eat pizza. Oh my god.
Well, but you eat good pizza.
Exactly.
You enjoy good pizza.
Exactly.
And then you spend so much time making other people happy through your food. You want to be happy through
I need
other people.
Exactly.
What do you have like a guilty pleasure food?
Oh, guilty pleasure. Oof, too many. Bacon, foie gras, but it's super greasy and delicious. Everything that has grease in it, that's my guilty pleasure.
So we're talking about eating healthy and cooking for yourself, and then
I know.
bacon and duck liver.
But it's the best. So good. But you can't eat it every day.
What's the most decadent thing you would make for yourself?
For myself?
Yes.
Oh my god. Like really bad? Like,
well, however you define decadent, whether it's bad or not. It can be good for your soul, and it's not that bad.
See, maybe I don't know. Like a pasta with butter and sausage or something like that. It was really bad.
And for going back to the question about teaching others to cook, for people who say they can't cook at all, is there one or two recipes or one or two things that you suggest that you start with?
Yeah. Well, salads are really, really, really easy to make, but not everyone likes salads. What else? You can make, I have this recipe that it's really nice. It's like a lasagna, vegetable lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy and you can make it really fast. It's you can buy one butternut squash, one zucchini, and one eggplant, and you slice it really thin. And then you make a sauce, like a white sauce with flour, a little bit of butter, and a little bit of milk in a pan. That sounds difficult?
No.
A little bit? Okay, and then you make this sauce, and then you put one layer of the vegetables, one layer of the sauce, and you can make it just with the vegetables, or you can do it with some kind of meat that you like. It can be turkey or ground beef or whatever.
No cheese.
Or cheese. Yeah, you can put a lot of cheese and cheese. So you make a layer of vegetables, cheese, sauce, meat, and keep going like that. And then put it in the oven, and voila, it's ready.
Okay, Adriana, now I have the rapid fire section. I have a few questions about different things that make you happy, and I just want your gut reaction. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Finish the sentence. Happiness means?
Food.
Finish the sentence. I'm happiest with?
Myself.
Do you have a happy color?
Green.
Is there a movie or a song that makes you happy?
Many. Many. I don't know.
What's your favorite movie or your favorite song?
What's my favorite? Dirty Dancing, maybe.
Who makes you happy?
My family.
When are you the happiest?
When I'm happy with myself.
And what is the happiest word you can think of?
The happiest word that you can think of. Food. I don't know.
Food is important to you.
Yeah, something else that it's not food.
No, it can be food.
I don't know, no se me ocurre nada.
Nah, se nos la pasamos. So, Adriana, if people want to learn more about you or they want to find you online, how can they do that?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram by Tepui Dining or on my website, tepuidining.com.
And that's TEPUY dining.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
oh, sorry, go on.
No.
And was it Isabel that did the logo for it?
Yes, my sister did the logo and it's amazing. And her Instagram is Bill Era if you want to follow her too.
And we'll have to go. We'll have to check the boy because you're New York, Miami,
In New York, Miami, and Boston.
Boston coming up, and we were talking earlier that it's going to have to come to Philly.
Exactly.
So keep an eye out for it, and hopefully it'll be in a city near you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. This is great. Lots of laugh.
Yes.
Thank you, Adriana, for sharing what makes you happy. And thanks to Isabel, Adriana's sister, for connecting us. A special thanks to Jason Zappolo for editing this episode, Orly Margulis for help with social media, and Rocio Castañeda for ongoing support. You can listen to all the episodes and learn more about this project at thehappypodcast.com. And you can find us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Happy Podcast, and youtube.com/thehappypodcast. You can find us on iTunes and subscribe for updates on your device every time we release an episode. And if you give us a 5-star review, more people can find us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.